All right, folks, welcome back. I was just watching my video from yesterday. Got about not halfway through, but sitting there listening to myself ramble on. All right. Well, let's take a look at what we got going on here. Let's take a look at what we got going on. Super readers are here. Okay, super readers are here. All right, we've got the twin turreted terrapin is complete, but it's not sealed. Dirty Cooter, complete, but not sealed. And then these are in the process of being done, including the Irish Mobile that we're planning on working on it tomorrow. And we're going to finish Skid Mark Sally is what we're going to work on here with her bazooka. And we'll try to wake up a little bit. This day has been dreary here, at least in this part of the world. There was a front that came through, and kind of windy too. Our grill I came in and I was like, man, I'd heard on the news that one of the traffic lights on the way here got closed down because of the power. Of course, it got turned back on by the time I went through it. But I went and looked at the back, expecting to see maybe like some branches or something that had fallen off the tree. No, but the grill had been pushed probably 12 feet. So, I mean, nothing happened other than it got pushed 12 feet. So I just looked back there and I'm like, oh, shit, I better make sure I close the back door. That's the only thing I'm not good at is closing that door. So let me just walk over there and make sure it's locked. Yep, I closed it this time. We did close it up. Tritark! You had a stormy weather here too. What's up? Yeah, that's that same front, man. It came like at a weird angle. How you doing, man? Two trucks down. Got this Thunderbird for Skid Mark Sally. It's got a bazooka on it. Or a bazooka type weapon. It falls into a bazooka category. Power blinked. I don't know if we lost power or not because I was at work. We didn't lose power there. I mean, I work very close to here. Well, I guess it's probably still like 6 miles or something like that. But there's not much between here and there. It's all like country. So we stopped because we needed to work on the lights on this Thunderbird. So, and I was like running out of steam. I was really tired yesterday. Really, I didn't sleep much the night before. So, okay. We don't need to use this one. Let's use one that has no interference on it. Okay, I know we're going to need black. Doing the living. It beats the alternatives and not doing the living. As opposed to necromancer, they're doing the dead. Necrophiliac necromancer. Doing the dead. All right. Little bit of water. And let's get something that is somewhat precise. Now, I believe it's the outside ones are orange. Nineteen 1988 Ford Thunderbird. Okay, so the light on the inside, that's probably the brights. And it's a different color than the other one. Okay. Fair enough. So let's do the main lights first. Put this back over here. Did you end up missing any work because of your accident, or you just like rolled back into it? Rolled back into the work. I know people that have like been in accidents are like, they just, well, I'm just on workers' comp, and I'm like, that's, I wouldn't pay the bills. I think yours happened on your own time, didn't it? How do I paint small details using cheap paints? Doesn't cooperate when I try to paint canopies on your Battletech mix. So the first thing you have to do is it's got to like adhere. So the craft paint isn't that much worse than the Vallejos. You have to make the surface so that it adheres to it and then seal it. Okay, you're being a little bitch. You're being a bitch. So I clear coat it. So it's just like a flat clear coat. And then it just basically turns it into like sandpaper. Not really, but that's why something clear, it frosts the window, because it basically created sandpaper on it. And that's enough to get it to adhere. Like if I didn't want to do anything other than this than give it a wash, I have to clear coat it with flat. If you clear coat it with gloss, it's smooth. If you clear coat it with flat, it's not smooth. And that's just enough for it to grab and hold the wash. Otherwise, it's just going to be like water on a duck's back. Don't know if that's helpful, but it happened my own time, but I'm light duties mainly, and insurance actually paid some of your medical expenses. Were you in a pretty big vehicle? We had these high winds that we had today. One of the guys in the shop, ended up having a tree fall on their truck. I don't think it like went through the window, although it has happened before. We've got some pine trees around where like the employee parking is, and or insurance. I mean, maybe you had a good experience with it, but my experience with insurance is it's a fucking. They don't want to pay for anything. You know. Oh, that's right. Your girlfriend's Subaru was a Crosstrek. Mm. Well, they say Subarus are really safe. Like, they're very survivable. That's what they say. Does she blame you for it? Is it one of those like, you wrecked my car? It's like, it's not even my fault. You were driving when it happened. Is it one of those things? She probably doesn't talk like... I hope for your sake she doesn't talk like that. Although that voice, there's probably somebody out there that finds it attractive. It's hot in here, man. 66.87. That new lingo. Yeah, you guys should be able to communicate. You guys are about the same age. You know? Whatchamacallit's the same age, too. Hoffman's about the same age as you guys, too. Now, she was actually about to punch the lady who was screaming at us while we were sitting in the middle of the road. The woman who hit us... Yeah, it's your fault for fucking being there, right? She's probably I'm sure a phone was involved. I don't like the government banning anything, but if you gotta ban things, man, people on their phones. There's too many people that are trying to multitask and they can't do it. Like, I know I can't multitask. I don't dare do shit like that. You know, there's not going to be any female names that people in the future are going to be able to name them. Like, for instance, and I've said this before, I'm pretty sure there was a girl in middle school, not in middle school, in elementary school that I went with, whose name was Susan. That's the last fucking person named Susan. And I think it's because they came out with those Lazy Susan things, and they're like, well, we don't want to name our daughter, she'll be called Lazy Susan. So we're not going to name any more children Susan. I mean, there's nobody your guys' age named Susan, is there? There's nobody in their 30s. Oh, Justin's old. Hey, nobody's named Susan. Nobody's named Sally. You know, nobody's named Karen. You know, nobody's going to name... There's no kids born now. Like, you know what? I think she'd make a good Karen. Oh, don't you call her that. You know, Karen got like a bad name. There's not going to be any names left. You know, you can't name kids Felicia. Bye, Felicia. You know, it just, they ruin every name, you know. I just posted some miniature tanks I'm working on my channel, but they're not even close to being undone. Okay? I cannot legally say what was involved, but she's in deep shit is all I'm allowed to disclose. Man, you really follow directions. Don't you tell anybody about this. Okay, I won't do that. Like, you're not supposed to talk about court cases. I've only been on the jury on one. And the thing is it was so long ago I can't talk about it because I don't remember what the fuck happened. It wasn't super exciting, otherwise you'd remember, you know. But it was like a real easy case. It was like, you know, the person didn't have a leg to stand on. You know. Like, I might as well have a thing where I can't talk about work. Because I don't want to talk about work while I'm not at work. I don't need to relive it. Like, once is enough. You got the whitest fucking name. What, the name of an albino or something? Let's see what chat says about good names for albinos. I know you're not albino. Now let me put this in my heading or it's going to be like loose out here. Names for a person, good names for a person who is albino. Alba means white in Latin. So Alba is the ancient name of Scotland, if I remember correctly. White out. Milk glass. Moonbone. The alabaster. More like the alabastard. The alabaster alabastard. Unhinged is a good movie. You should take up some kind of martial art. No, you just get stuck on a white belt. You never go any more than that. What is the whitest name? What's the whitest first name? Chad? You just put it off Sea Creek. All that's left now is attached to ship names and flags. Excellent. Well, just come on over and we'll play it here. Just hop on the next boat. Do you have dual citizenship? Alba, so I was right about the Alba, right? White. Why white? It's just coincidence? Oh, and by the way, what was special about... Okay, so here's the thing. So I was quizzed about this on the way home by somebody that was watching my video. I can't take your suggestion with a Nessie. And here's why I can't do it. Because I'm not going to remove the tartan. And if I use a Nessie with a tartan, I had so much trouble with the chaos that this little bit of pink splatter caused this truck. I'm still not even happy with the truck yet. It's going to stay that way, but I'm not 100% with it. You know, and that rarely happens, but it seems like it's happening more often than it used to. That pink just ran so much interference. So I can't do... I like the idea of the plesiosaur, but I don't like the idea of the plesiosaur with the tartan on it. So, now, Jeffrey, what is special about that town you told me? It's a little town. It starts with an I. Let me go over there. I'll probably pronounce it wrong. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. It just fucking happens. Inverurie. What's special about it? It just starts with an I? I mean, I'm fine leaving the I. I don't want to remove it. And after remove it, I have to remove the tartan off the top. And I don't really want to. It looks cool. You're saying that because I'm a mantlet. Gaslands Strip Club. Skid Mark Sally. No, she's not attractive. She's like... I could see Skid Mark Sally being some gal like... What's her name off of Borderlands? Is it Nelly? Like a freaking orc. Hey, some people are into that. That's fine. Like when I went to Canada, I saw my first Eskimo lady. Wow, she could kick all our asses at once. And nothing to be ashamed of. She was built like a fucking walrus. A walrus of muscle. No. Are strip clubs still a thing? I mean, have I been to one? Yes. Did I want to? No. I was talked into it. How long ago was it? 1990? 1991? You know. I don't know how to stay in business. Oh my God, Hot Wheels have a name for the Loch Ness Monster truck. Necessary Roughness. That's a great fucking name. That is a great name. They have a monster truck? Well, the problem with the monster trucks is, like, when I found this in the bargain bin, I got it, because this is the right size for the monster truck. Okay? If you make it too big, then it conceptually needs to take a lot of damage or something. And it can't take that much damage. So this is the right size for the monster truck that I was wanting to get. The ones you go and you find in stores, the tires are literally twice as tall or more. They're just too damn big. Even though they make that unicorn one, that's all, Fruit Loop, which that's, they do make some really interesting. All right, so now I got to find out what this is. Necessary. Yeah, that's the kind of names I like. Necessary Roughness. That's a great name. Roughness Monster Truck. Okay, but it doesn't have a plesiosaur on it. It does come with a crash thing. Giant wheels, yeah, they're too damn big. Necessary rough, It's got Loch Ness, Scotland on it. I didn't know that Loch Ness fed into Inverness. I guess that makes sense, the whole Ness thing. Looks like it could go on a smaller undercarriage. You had investments in strip clubs. Hey baby, here's $1. Hold on to it. I'll be back for it in about 12 years. Inverurie is close to one of the potential sites of Mons Gropius. Good pronounce. I think I'm pretty skilled. Like I say, I speak 2 languages fluently and make fun of about another 10. So I do better than most Americans. I know it's not saying much, but I want to pronounce things correctly. I find value in that. Inverurie! The Inverurie idiot. I was going to Inverurie. I don't know about Interceptor. It's not that fast looking. It looks like it's built. This thing's going to ram somebody right up the kilt. Yeah. I like the front of it. Be wary if you get a bill at the club and there's a skid mark on it. Yikes. So we have a strip club here, kind of, in the town I grew up in, on the outskirts. Of course, you don't want that in the middle of town, right? And the thing that's unique about it is they're not allowed to serve alcohol. So who the hell's going to go to a strip club sober? A real sicko. But I'm surprised people go to, to strip clubs. You can get all, you can see all that stuff on the internet for free. So I've heard. You go to the strip club, maybe you want to see a redhead. They don't have any redheads there, right? Well, you can go on the internet, you can see whatever color hair you want. Or no color hair, I guess, if that's what you're into. Bald girls. There's probably people into bald girls. And I mean up here. Man, I was watching that stupid movie. I finally finished watching it. And it is stupid. There's a couple of the skits that are alright. But man, that one line that I had to call my wife and I had to read it to her what it was. It's one of the fun, I guess you just had to be there. It's one of the funniest things I've ever, I guess it caught me off guard, Yeah, a sober strip club. No thanks. You have a shaved head, can't stand hair. Okay, fair enough. Now you are not one of those guys that's overcompensating for it by having like a 7-foot beard, right? You don't have like a ZZ Top beard, right? I can't stand. I can stand hair. I can't stand it touching my ears. So. Well, you know, if you want to shave your head, you could save. If you do it yourself, you could save. You know, throughout a year, you could save a lot of money. I mean, you could. You know, use that money to, I don't know, buy guns or something. I don't know. You know, when you shave your head, you know, you can save all that money for that swastika tattoo. I'm kidding. I know you don't have one of those. But that's what I think of these when these people have these videos, and there's actually quite a few of them that they'll do these things and they'll wear gloves. And I'm like, why are you wearing gloves? Like, do you have like swastika tattoos on your arm, on your hands? You don't want people to see them or something? You know? You have a goat beard. Yeah, I had a beard for about a month, and it's just too much trouble. Then I got to shave my neck every day, or I look like a barbarian. Nah. I can grow a beard. I don't need one. You save a lot of money, though. I mean, that's true. You know. Bald Brigade. Yeah, it's not that unique of a club. I mean, it's not like, you know. You do have an elbow web. Does that have a particular signification? Let's look at the back of the 1988 Ford Thunderbird. Oh, rear. Make sure it's all... Okay, there's that place for the license plate. There's a spot for the rear brake lights. All right, that's going to be, and then all the way wrapped around it is going to be red and, okay, got it. You have no tats or piercings. Yeah, me neither. All right. So let's do the corners first. Piercings. What the fuck would I pierce? Let's not go there. Hey, I saw you move, Scotsman. Put it in park, you bastard! Wasn't such a good idea to give me a Scottish car, was it? Yeah, about like this right here. Yeah, so if I had not given this a sealant, a clear coat, I'd be putting it on and it would just be coming off. It'd be like I was trying to paint on oil. Wouldn't work, you know? Get tattoos, they're fun. No. Now, somebody has to not have tattoos. That's the team that I signed up for. I've had a skin thing for most of my life. It's pretty much gone away with this injection that I take. So I'm like, man, all I want is clear skin. That's all I wanted, you know? So, it's not for me, you know? So, but you could do whatever you want, you know? I don't find them attractive at all on women, but that's more of them for you guys, you know? I'm not looking for any woman of any kind, so, What, you're into dudes? That's not what I'm saying. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that ain't me. There is so much potential, so much can be borrowed from this ninja. I forgot to tell you, finally got a legit copy. Oh yeah, have you seen that one blog that one guy has of Bongalesia? It was so popular that the AK, whatever company that was making some miniatures for AK-47 Republic, actually came up with a box set focused on his narrative. His, imagination, so to speak, No? I don't know if he's added to it recently, but it's pretty funny. No, he hasn't added anything on it since 2021. But he's got flags and stuff for his nations and stuff like that. Just look up Bongalesia. And there's some food for thought. She's Latina, but obsessed with Celtic and Norse symbology. If I had to get a tattoo, which I don't have to, if I had to get a tattoo, I would get my crest of arms, because it's fucking awesome for starters, right here. If I had to, which I don't have to. I have a, actually I don't know where it is. I had it on the wall at the other house. I should put it up over there. Anyways, mine's cool. It's not like somebody bent over tying their shoelaces, blowing a horn out of their ass. Well, I don't care about all that. Doesn't bother me. We're going to have a couple of racers, too, that play for the other team. I want to be inclusive. We can have fun with inclusivity. I'm going to get a Subaru Forester. It's going to have a lesbian driver. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Bongalesia. That's exactly how you spell it. Yep, he's got a lot of stuff on there. I was going to get into that, not with AK-47, but I was going to create my own. This is taking a lot of my imagination Africa stuff, but I already created different nations, and I started a WordPress group, all kinds of stuff for it. There's just not enough energy to do that, and World War II, and DB. It's like I got to cut back on what I can. Can't do everything. Maybe if I was unemployed. Or, retired. If I was unemployed, I still couldn't do it because you'd have to look for employment. which is technically more work than just going to work. There's something about it that's DBA like. I don't remember what it is, but there's something about it that's just, you know. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. There's your answer. I think the rules were probably more clear than DBA. You know, the most unclear thing about DBA is nothing's ever repeated. So, like, let me look for the movement rule. Like, I know there's something that happens if you're solid or movement, and the problem is it's described where the solid thing is, not in the movement part. Even though it might have something to do with movement, it's described in the part where things are fast or solid. So it's like, you know, if it's not where you expect it to be, you're up a creek because he's not going to repeat it a second time. That's the worst thing about the rules, and they're just so damn complicated, you know. Yeah, you can play however the hell you want. If you're not playing a tournament, you're like, okay, this is what the rules say. Nah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Play a different way, you know. As long as you apply it the same way to both sides, who cares? It's not like you're going to enter a AK-47 Republic convention game or something, or convention tournament. So I asked for the day off, the Friday off for the convention coming up in April. And I happened to look and see what games were listed. I mean, we're kind of close. You know, we're within basically a month, maybe a little bit more than a month, but 5 weeks till the convention. And there ain't a fucking thing I want to play. There's nothing. So I might not even go. I may not go. You know, I wouldn't mind going there and hanging out with the guys and go out to, you know, having some beers with them, but I don't want to pay $50 fucking for the privilege of hanging out with the guys. You know, it's just kind of stupid. And the last convention, I found this flea market I went to yesterday on the way back. And, like, I don't need to go in a month, you know. So, we'll see. I'm sure I'll make the right decision when it's time to go. You know, like, when I got my car for 3 years, or 4 years, it might have been 4 years, I ended up going to that Subi Fest thing they have. It's all Subaru things. You know, it sounds good on paper. Then you get there and I'm like, there's nothing there for me. Like, I'm not going to completely rebuild my engine. I don't really like people at car shows. I wasn't expecting it, and yet most of them are dicks. And I'm like, what am I going there for? You know? So I didn't go last year. And I'm probably not going to go again. You know? You live and you learn, you know? You don't have time for everything, so. Deep fried Spam fries. No. No, Spam's one of those things that we ate in the 70s because we didn't know any better. I mean, I guess it's okay. People still eat it, but it's got to be better than bologna. Shoulder pork and ham. Yep. Yeah, we need to remove these things. This thing's top heavy, and these things have dried anyways. Yeah, Sally's one of those names. Nobody's called Sally anymore. Some of these old school names, though, did make a comeback. About when my daughter was little, about when my daughter was born, there were, babies that were being named, names like Evelyn or something like that. I mean, Evelyn is like a name for like old women. Well, she wasn't always old, okay, but it still sounds like an old woman. Like we were going to name my daughter Sophia, and I didn't want to name her Sophia. Well, she ended up that's her middle name, but we didn't want to use that for her first name because I can just see her being closed, shortened to Sophie, and I'm not going to have a daughter named Sophie. That's like a biscuit eating British woman. Nothing wrong with that. That's not our people, Sophie. No, it's not even that bad of a name. It's just not an appropriate name. Violently British, yes. I harumph in your general direction. I don't know. Should we let the Irish in the cruel Britannia team? Not really Britannia. These are the troublemaker ones. So, maybe not. You only eat spam once in a blue moon, and that is a sandwich with a fried egg, mayo, and some toasted bread. What did I see today? Oh, today I saw this one guy I interact with from Britain. He sent me a picture, I think that he shared on somebody else's page, and it was some hot dog that was covered in British beans and with ketchup all over it. And I'm like, I don't know anybody who dislikes ketchup more than me. And I would say I eat most things. Most things that are normal. Like, ketchup's kind of a normal thing, right? I just can't stand the smell of it or the taste of it. I literally, will not eat something with ketchup on it. Especially if they, make it by accident. Sorry, we put ketchup on it. I said, nobody that makes the minimum wage is going to make me eat fucking ketchup. And part of it, I got that from my dad. My dad always hated it. And then I bet I I just liked it more than he did. The smell. Can't stand it. Yeah. It's a place that had fried eggs on their burgers. Rock and Rob. No, it wasn't called Rock and Robin's. Rock and Robin's is a diner that we had in high school period. What's it called? It's called something like that. Red Robin. Red Robin would do that. Red Robin had this one, and I'm sure other people have it. Well, it had a fried egg on it. All right. We got the headlights. We've got these ones on the interior are also whitish, but not as bright, because that's how they are in the car. Another one of those stupid fucking parachutes. You know, Hot Wheels likes to make so many cars dragsters. And they put that little, you know, that little parachute bag to open up. Red Robin, everything's expensive as fuck. Everything's expensive as fuck. We got a barbecue place here that they probably have made it all the way up to South Carolina where you're at. Because it started in this area. And it's called Sonny's Barbecue. And it's decent, right? It's not the best barbecue I ever had. It's like, you know, it's an In-N-Out kind of fast place. They had a thing where they had this sandwich deal called the Big Deal. It was usually a pork sandwich on garlic toast with a side of fries and a drink for $3.99. That same motherfucker now costs $16. Like, I'm sorry, you know, inflation didn't go up 7 times or whatever the math is on that. Every place is expensive as fuck. As a matter of fact, places that were really expensive are less expensive because they didn't go up as much. What's even worse than that is if you go to some place that, here we go into American problems, that places that require a tip. I'm not talking about you go to Starbucks, right, and they want a tip. Starbucks isn't a tipping fucking place, right? They just decided to put that on there, you know, because of the big C and people feeling sorry for them, and they don't get paid half wages, right? It's not a true waiter job. But if you go to some place that's really expensive, now you got to give them more money, and the service has been worse. The service at those places, and I don't really need service, like, you know, but I'm talking about, you know, they don't want to bring you refills, and of course I don't get sodas anymore. I don't go to sodas at places that, you know, any restaurants like $4 fucking for a soda, you know, it's like, no. I mean, sometimes I don't get a soda. But, you know, like a sit-down restaurant. Then you have to tip on that, too. It's like, no. That's one of the things that's great about Europe, no tipping. Hey, there's things they do there better. You know? I'll admit it, we don't do everything better here. I mean, there's a lot of things we do better here, but not everything. All right. The bazooka. I don't think I want to leave it black. I almost feel like I need to make it some kind of army green color. And make this little laser rangefinder also like in an army green color. And not super bright, not like this, but something like, you know, an olive drab or something. So I think that's what I'm going to start with. We're going to go grab a drab. And something a little bit more green. Refractive green. Yeah, color's good. Yeah, Red Robin closed. Red Robin closed. The place that closed, I was surprised it closed, was Bahama Breeze. I thought Bahama Breeze was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but, you know, they had good beer there. They had good beer on tap. The atmosphere was good. But you never know. There's just some places that you're like, why is this place around? Why do people go to it? And they just, you know, and they still seem to be in business. Like Waffle House. Why would you eat at Waffle House? I had a hankering for one about 5 years ago. Went to one. Took that away. I think if you want to go to a Waffle House, if you're like, nobody's ever hit on you before, you know, as a dude, and you want some woman to hit on you, you know, that works there with 2 teeth, you go to Waffle House. Hey, darling. Easy there, Wilma. Nellie, that's her name, right? Nellie from from Borderlands. She's got some funny. She's funny as hell. Show, the game. Well, you can go for me. First of all, I don't like going to a restaurant where you smell like a skillet when you leave. Otherwise, it's like, all right, well, when you want to go to Waffle House, and no, I need to dig up some bodies first and get nice and stinky, then I'll go in. You know, bad weather or a hangover. No. I'll tell you one place that's not busy like it used to be, McDonald's. And the only reason I say that is I have to drive by one of them on the way to work. And that place was always busy until they're like, we're going to automate everybody. We're going to raise we're going to pay people twice as much now. All right, well, we're going to automate everything. And, you know, there's never anybody in there. Not like it used to be. You just want to get hit on by Wilma. That's why you go there. I mean, there's worse places than Waffle House. I'm just saying that's the one that came to mind. But, you know, you want to go there. Maybe that's why they're still around, you know. What kind of bad weather? The tornado destroyed my house. We got to go to Waffle House. Maybe not that bad. Huh? When it's raining, that's when I want ice cream. If the weather's like dreary and shit, especially if it's cold, doesn't make any sense, right? No, that's when I want ice cream. Does it cheer me up? It's like happiness in your mouth. If you pick the right flavor, it is. You pick the wrong flavor, nope. Best ice cream I've ever had was in Spain. It was orange. And it wasn't an orange cream, and it wasn't a sorbet. It was orange ice cream. That shit was amazing. I got that, and then my daughter got mango. And we, traded. We didn't trade, but we shared both. Incredible. And I've eaten a lot of ice cream in my life. Now I go to Waffle House to have dinner and a show. It's a show, all right. Just something I don't want to see. Because if you go to one that is near the hood, a fight is guaranteed to break out. I avoid the hood like it's a plague. Because, you know, it is. I know, you got to go to the hood sometimes for work. Hey, you tow somebody's vehicle. Oh, I think you told me you don't have to do that anymore. But you tow somebody's vehicle, they might come out. You need to go a little bit farther than a Waffle House that's right there, right? Because remember, those people in the hood, when they get upset, they don't go far to cause trouble. It's like, man, we're really upset. We want to light things on fire. I know. We'll light our own neighborhood on fire. Why? Because it's right here. Okay. If I ever find myself in life where I'm going to go crazy and start a riot because of somebody I'm upset with, I'm going to make sure that I go after those people I'm upset with, not just the people that are convenient. Like, I want to burn somebody's house down. Anybody in particular? Nah, whoever's nearby. Repo war. Yeah, you need to find something else to do, my man. We don't want you unalived. Well, did you ever think you wouldn't have to do repo work for those people if they just wouldn't have given them that loan? Like, why'd they give the people the loan if they weren't going to pay for it, right? You've had more injuries repoing from rich people They got better weapons. Remember that couple that was, what was it? Was it in Kansas City or something like that? Where there was a riot coming and the guy goes out in his front yard with an AR-15 or something like that? I don't know. All I know is they don't play like that in Florida. They started those riots down in Miami Beach, and it was like they started like people overwhelming cop cars and lighting them on fire, and the cops got out the billy clubs, and it was piñata day. Snuff that right out. They probably don't have riots in South Carolina either. Not that simple. Banks and loan offices are almost forced to give loans to suspect people because of political correctness. Well, you'll suffer the consequences then, I guess. There's, I guess, kind of the hoodie part of this little town I have to drive by on the way to work. I don't go into it. I have to drive by it. And the people that come out of there always have Mercedes or something. I should take pictures of some of these. This one vehicle had like 32-inch rims or something like that. It was something absurd. It'd make a good Gaslands vehicle. And you know what? I love those vehicles for Gaslands. They're actually my favorite team. But you know, because it's ridiculous and over the top, you know. I don't know what color I need to paint this, but I have a feeling that I might paint it like it's a lens or something. That's what this looks like, is a sighting mechanism. This isn't necessarily a bazooka proper. It is just a weapon that behaves like a bazooka. Bazookas only has 3 rounds. I know. How do they reload this? It's magic. Witchcraft. Oh, it's a female driver. It's reloaded with bitchcraft. Like somebody that got upset with. Why are you calling that one the bimbo bomber? All blondes aren't bimbo. I agree. All blondes aren't bimbo. But that bitch is, because I designed her. You know? Just like all these country people have dip stains on their trucks. You're not one of them arm danglers, are you? I need to make some of those dangling arms so somebody can like crush into them. That wasn't a thing back in the 80s and 90s. People didn't drive like this with their, like their hand, just their whole arm, not their hand, not just resting it on there, like the whole entire arm, like dangling outside. Like, I don't want to, like it's, you just stuck it up a rhino's ass or something like that, and you can't stand the smell. It's just so awkward looking, and that wasn't a thing. That's actually a lot more common than that Carolina squat. Never chewed tobacco. Just seems like it's a mess. Like, why would you do that, I get that you want nicotine, right? Nicotine's like another form of coffee. I mean, it is. I used to smoke. I get it. A long time ago. But I get it. It's like, it's got power in it that, like, helps you focus and, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And, you have a smoke and, like, all right, I know how to do it. Same thing with coffee. But having a spit cup, like, that's a pain in the ass. Depends. I don't put your arm out of the window unless it's in the evening in summertime when it cools off, feel the wind. Never let it hang out. That looks stupid. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about resting it on there. I'm talking about the whole, like, your armpit is literally on the door. That wasn't a thing 15 years ago. It's always rednecks. Hey, I just call them like I see them, you know. I didn't ask them to be the ones that do that. So I do need to get some guys with arms dangling out the window so I can make fun of them in this game too. You've been T-boned, right? You've been T-boned. I believe that's what the accident is. Why would you have your arm out there? Like, you would have lost your arm. You know? Your arm would have been gone. Well, the only good part about it is you're probably right-handed. And that would have been your left arm, but, like, no. And you look stupid. You know? And we can all do stupid enough stuff as it is. We don't need extra stuff. Yeah. I just don't understand it, you know. Yeah, this is the right color. Yeah. Like, it's military grade. I said, well, we're gonna put it on a pink mounting. Suit yourself, Sally. Yeah, matches her nails or whatever. What's the whole purpose of the Carolina squat? I read it one time and it's like, if you were to go airborne, you land so that you have traction on all the wheels. It's some bullshit thing like that. I don't know where you would go airborne. You know, this isn't Hazard County. Okay? You know what I hated about that show as a kid? Because that show was on when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Right? What I hated about the Dukes of Hazzard is I've always been a map nerd. Always. And I'm like, where the fuck is this county called Hazard in Georgia? Right? That kind of stuff would drive me crazy. Like, why would you make up a county? Like, there's like 70 counties to choose from. I don't know how many there are in Georgia. Maybe 53 or something like that. You know? Why would you make up something? I do have that. I do have a Charger that has Hot Wheels written on it. I should repaint that. I should make the Rednecks version of that. You know, because the flag's not the same. And instead of being a base orange, it'll be base, I don't know, yellow or blue or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. I never care for the reason. I only know that it looks stupid and blind people with your low beams. Well, is it more blinding people, or is it more like you can't see what's underneath you, man? You're going to run into somebody. You know? When I was a kid, people would do the opposite. People would take, like, El Caminos, and they would be, well, they'd be like this. This is lower in the front. But, I mean, there would be a lot more than that. So you'd be, like, you know, staring up. You'd be looking down naturally. You know? I think I have this exact same Charger. It just has Hot Wheels written on it. I will repaint that one. Probably should make a General Custer or something like that. General Lee should be a Chinese car. I put it on the Asian persuasion team. I reckon they don't want any legal liability for idiots trying to reenact the jumping stunts there. because they saw it on the TV show. I don't know. Yeah, it's actually filmed. I came across the town by accident where it was filmed. We were making a delivery nearby, and I was like, Hazard, I was looking around like, oh, Hazard County. I'm like, why would it say Hazard County? Oh, this was filmed wherever it was. Statesboro. It wasn't in Statesboro, but it was something like that. Milledgeville or something like that, where it was filmed. So it was filmed in Georgia, or at least part of it was. The worst thing, in my opinion, about those shows in the 70s, I remember I was a kid in the 70s, right? My mama dressed me in the 70s, literally. Because when the 70s ended, I was 9. Well, maybe she didn't dress me in 1979, but she told me what to fucking wear. Does that count? The worst thing about going back and watching those shows from that time period is how much fucking hair men had. I was looking at a picture, I don't know what it was, and it was like Dukes of Hazzard or whatever. And who's the blonde one? Bo? He has so much fucking hair on his head that when he puts the cowboy hat on, it's sitting on top of his fucking hair. It's like, how can you stand having that much fucking hair? I'd rather shave my head. I'd rather pull a Justin and shave my head than have, that amount of fucking hair, Just read there's a randomized movement AK-47 Republic. I hate randomized movement distances. That's some of the main reasons I hate chain of command. Does chain of command have random movement? Well, like you roll 2d12 and that's how far you can move. There's a lot of games that do. Sword in the Flame has that. I don't mind that. I mean, that's just a pip mechanism. The same thing, but, You're a little hairy, but not that hairy. You know what I'm talking about. Just too much fucking hair in there. I don't know how you could stand being a dude and, not be able to see your ears. You know what I mean? Well, first of all, I don't hear well, so that would be a bad combination. Oh, man. There was this article that it wasn't an article, it was a Facebook post. It was a Facebook post that was asking, what thing from long ago would people not be able to deal with nowadays, right? And the stuff that people put on there was just stupid shit. Like, they wouldn't be able to handle using a phone book or not having the internet or whatever. Okay, look, the internet came about the other day. I mean, in 1994, I didn't have the internet. Actually, I didn't have my own internet until 99. Okay? So the early 90s was just the other day. It wasn't, but I remember it was kind of the other day. Not a big deal, right? I wouldn't be able to handle wanting to order something, having to look through a catalog, and then mail off something with a check for them to, I'm not doing business with you. I'm just not going to do business with you. You mail it, who knows how long it's going to take, who knows if they're going to send you the right thing, how long it's going to take for them to get it. I don't have the patience for that. Only thing that interests you about chain of command was the patrol phase. I don't like the fact that it's 1d6. But if I didn't play the other World War II game, I'd probably play Chain of Command and add more detail to it. The vehicle combat needs more detail. Not, the fact that you can just pick anybody who died, no, you just have to roll to see who it is, kind of thing. Yes, it does. 2d6 plus modifiers. Vehicles have special rules on it. Yeah, the one game that I had, and I really didn't like the way it was interesting, but it was way too generic, was, I need to write it down, because every time I think about it, I can never remember what it's called. The one by Osprey that was modern. You know what it is if I say it. It's just it abstracted too many things. It made too many things abstract. Osprey rules modern combat. They might still be out of production. Force on force. Force on force, like, it abstracted things that I thought that were really important. And the rule book is just too beautiful. Like, it's like I'm like scared of like damaging it. But like everything went across the board. So it didn't matter whether you were shooting a pistol or an AK-47 or an AR-15, M4, M60, a saw. It didn't matter. They were all the same. Now, they might have had like +1 modifier because it was a saw or something like that. But I'm like, this is just a way, I mean, focusing on individual weapons, I think, is an important thing for me. The distinction between the different weapons. I think that's important to me. Yeah. The PIP system, very abstracted command and control system. You're only limited by how many elements you can move. The move roughly the same unless you go through rough going. Less or fast. Force on force, ambush alley are fantastic games in my opinion. I played them a couple times and they're okay, but I'm like, I sold them. I was going to use that as the core for my Africa stuff, and I'm like, it's just too generic. It's just too generic. So, I probably have told you this before. I was going to make my own set of rules. Not that I'm not interested in publishing anything, just to use it to develop a narrative. And what I thought was, I started thinking about it, and it's like, what takes a long time and what's really tedious about sets of rules are, does a round even hit you, right? Do you get hit by the fire? And so you've got to come up with a simple way of doing that, so you're not wasting all your time calculating something that's never going to be. So I thought, okay, well, something pretty reasonable would be like to use different dice depending on the range. So I thought, a pistol, you use a D6. Maybe submachine guns use a D8, maybe a D10. Rifles, you start getting into 12s, 20s, that kind of stuff. And what that is that's the range. You measure the range you are, and then you basically, to hit the target without any, to make it a simple thing, to hit the target, you need to, or to have effective fire at the target, you need to roll higher than the distance is. So, like, for instance, if you're shooting a pistol and he's 6 inches away, you got to roll a 6. If you roll a 5, you don't hit him. If you roll a 4, you don't hit him. If you roll a 3, you don't hit him. And then once you hit him, you got some save mechanism or something like that. So you can quickly figure out how many shots you're getting on something. And I think as a generic concept, I think that could have had some merit. Because you could easily figure out, oh, okay, how far is he? 17 inches away. All right, I got a D20 rifle, whatever it is, if it's an FAL or something like that. All right, I got to roll 17, 18, 19, or 20. Or the shots don't even count. So you take your handful of dice, you got 4 guys or whatever, take your 4 dice, roll them, how many do you get, kind of thing. I think that would have worked. And then you put all the modifiers, not on that, but on the receiving thing. And I think to speed it up, because like if I'm playing a World War II game, I can't speed it up. I want the detail, I want the ammo counting, all that kind of, I want it crunchy. If I'm doing something for a Bongalesia type game, it can be a little bit more generic, because that's really like a storytelling kind of thing. Something else didn't like we felt the battles were too small for ancient warfare. Well, I like the 12 stands. I mean, it could have gone up to 15. I think somewhere between 9 to 15 would have been fine. Because what I don't like about DBA, well, I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore, because I don't want to work on something for 6 months and not be able to do anything else, or I won't be able to finish it. I want it super crunchy if it's a period that I'm really religious about. I'm really religious about the Second World War. I really am. I can't play an abstract Second World War game. I just can't. Other things, sure. This is generic-ish. That's okay, But I could handle the abstraction of DBA. It's not my religion, you know. See, I don't like abstraction because I don't think abstractly. It doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes it does, but especially if I'm creating stuff for it. Like, man, I'm adding all this detail to this thing, it needs to be reflected in the game. That's one of the things I really dislike about something like Warhammer. Now, I've never played Warhammer, but I can tell you that the miniatures are very expensive. They take a while to paint them if you want to paint them well. And the game should have, in my opinion, the amount of detail equivalent of the effort that you put in painting the miniatures. But to spend all this effort to paint these miniatures that are really expensive, to play a game where at the end of the day you're like, all right, odd or even, they get hit. It's like, why am I putting all this effort and detail in all these characters and they're all just like generic shit? Yeah, it might be good for some people. It just doesn't make me want to do anything about it, you know? I don't know. That's at least, I'm sure I'm in the minority, but that's what drives me. So, and I could make special rules for these vehicles, but I don't want to. I think that the balance system that they have in the game, they play tested it enough and it works. You know, I thought about doing something like this particular vehicle that has 2 turrets. I was actually going to put 1 turret on the bed here, but still, and then not allow it to fire a 360. So this one would be able to fire a 360, but this one would be able to fire like 270, like out to the side and all the way around. And because of that, instead of this costing 6 points, it cost 4. I decided not to do it. I'm like, you know, I don't want to start tinkering with that, you know? So, details make sense if you're really zoomed in on the platoon level, the squad level, man. We're zoomed out. Yep. Yeah, like there's that rule set called Rommel, right? And like, you know, when you zoom out too much, like I did micro armor, I don't care about infantry on a micro armor scale because they're so abstracted that it's like, and you know, and that's one thing I don't like about it. And I like tanks and I like infantry too. It's all important. So, you know, I want to be like, oh, it's a squad. Well, what squad is it? Well, it doesn't matter. They all behave the same. Not a game for me. You know? You just finished Cross of Iron. Did you like it? Demarcation! How about that catchy tune at the beginning? It's not the best movie ever, but it was for the longest time because it was the only thing on the Eastern Front, and it's okay. Now go watch The Eagle Has Landed. Same time period when it was made. All right. I think we're going to leave this wing in black. This fucking parachute. Guess I gotta paint it gray or some crap. Did you like it? I don't know if I liked it, but I didn't dislike it. Well, it's dated. Generation War is incredible. But, you know, there's a lot of... that's kind of like a classic movie in that, you know... They used to play it frequently on TBS. Cross of Iron, that is. Of course, they didn't play the part with the BJ. Which I don't remember if it even shows anything, though. What's funny is you got James Masons in all these war movies, and he was a conscientious objector. Yeah, that can't be great for your peers. That movie influenced a lot of stuff I've seen in Life Aquatic, Tarantino films, and Kojima games. Oh, really? Well, the last time I saw it, which is a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, one thing that struck me, especially considering the time period that it came out in, I think Coburn does a pretty good job of trying to do a Germanish accent to some degree. He does enough of an accent that you forget that it's James Coburn. At least I do. It worked for me. So that's kind of unusual because most of those movies of that time period are like, yeah, I'm going to be what I am, and and that's what I am. Fistful of Toes, only micro armor game I've seen that abstracts infantry and tanks on the same level. Armor and suppression effects being in the open when hit by artillery, the only difference. It's artsy for a war film. I was surprised, and maybe that's why my dad never showed it to me. He never liked the artsy stuff. The artsiest, well, I don't remember Thin Red Line. But Thin Red Line is like 80% of the people hate Thin Red Line, and 20% of people do. And it's artsy and that kind of crap, and, I don't want to see a movie for artsy purposes, right? The artsiest thing, the artsiest war movie I remember seeing recently was that one that was, if you look at these polls, what the most horrific World War II movie is this one movie from 1985 that's Russian called Come and See. And I've talked about it before. I finally got around to seeing it. It's in Russian, and it's extremely artsy. It's actually a bad trip in some parts, and as somebody who's never done drugs, I can't relate. I don't really care for how they chose to represent some things. I think it watered down the intensity of it because it was done a certain way, but that was pretty artsy. I guess White Tiger's probably pretty artsy also. I would say that new Der Tiger is artsy in a way. Which isn't very good, but I recommend everybody to see it because it's definitely different than anything else you'll ever see. And they do the interior of the tiger. The tiger itself is done really well. So. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone until we weather it and see where the hell that takes us. All right, it's weather time. Whether or not, here I come. Chocolate brown, U.S. field drab, and rocky sand. Yeah, most people really dislike. I don't like war movies that has a bunch of famous people in it, and I think that Thin Red Line has a shitload of people in it that are famous actors, and it's not action. I see movies to see. I see war movies to see action. I want to see suppressive fire and fire and maneuver tactics, and tanks moving around and seeing what they would look like and all that kind of stuff in color. That's what I want to see it for, not for some life lesson or that's me. Artsy, I don't know, watch it, you'll know what I mean. Like Saving Private Ryan is not artsy. Band of Brothers is not artsy. I guess it's the difference of you can either read a story or you can read a poem. It's the poem crap. is the artsy thing. See, that's the equivalent of it. It just dances around the the issues and. Skid Mark Sally. Yeah, Apocalypse Now, I would definitely call it artsy. I don't think Platoon is artsy. I really don't think it is. I don't think it's artsy. Um, Full Metal Jacket is definitely more artsy than Platoon. Definitely. Yeah, I think Mitch dislikes Thin Red Line more than I do. Aesthetic, expressionless, stylized visuals, and a degree of emotional contemplation. I prefer artsy films, but not always. I enjoyed that about Crosses of Iron. You found it artsy? Hmm. Well, certainly the part where he gets shell shocked. That part's artsy. I think the only part that they cut out was the whole BJ thing, which they didn't even have it in there. You know? I don't know. They put stuff on TV. I was watching this show that I'm watching with a family. It's pretty fucking racy. You know, it's like, man, that wouldn't have flown when I was a kid. Jarhead, I haven't seen it. Why do I feel that's got Jamie Foxx in it? Does it? I feel like films that are artsy, also war films that are artsy, always kind of promote characters that would not survive a fucking war. Um, they promote almost like you should be more like this guy. And this guy that they're promoting wouldn't make it 2 days in a war zone because he'd be too soft. I feel like that's the case, and I'm not saying it shouldn't show war as hell because war is hell and it's horrible, but so Am I right on that? It just seems like it, really Oliver Stone-esque is going to be artsy. Yeah, well, he's just doing too much fucking coke. I didn't know he was a Vietnam veteran. I just read something about him recently. And, what movies has he done? I like Platoon. I've seen it. I saw it a long time ago. I didn't see it when it came out in movie theaters. It came out in '86. I'm 15 years old. I can't see a rated R movie when '86, and I never really liked Vietnam. It's actually I actually would say it's one of the better war movies. You know, um, Oliver Stone. What else has he done? Let's see here. I know he did Alexander, and that was it. Again, the problem with Alexander is it focuses on the shit. Anybody that's going to go see Alexander, we didn't want to see that, right? We want to see battles. We want to see how these fuckers fought, and that, that kind of stuff. And I've seen, I think, Alexander 3 times, and one of them is like, there's 3 different versions. One's okay, one's very homoerotic, I think. Whatever. I mean, that stuff went on. You just don't need to focus on that. That's not what people want to go see. That's not what I would think people would want to focus on. Oliver Stone. And the worst thing about Alexander is casting Colin Farrell is that in that role. He's terrible. He just wrong guy, period. Oh, I only saw Emperor of the Sun a long time ago, and I thought it was so fucking boring. I would give it another shot. Yeah, that's whatchamacallit's first movie, isn't it? Where he's a kid. Alright, you motherfucker, what movies have you done? Let's see his movies. So you guys can be blown away by how many of his movies I have not seen. Because I'm not really a movie person. Come on, let's go to... Let's do... Oh, no, the filmography is down here the way at the bottom. What's this? Alright, this tells you what he's unhinged. These people are freaking unhinged. In 1997, Stone was one of 34 celebrities to sign an open letter to then German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. Remember him? Published as a newspaper advertisement in the International Herald Tribune, which protested against the treatment of Scientologists in Germany. I guess they treated them poorly in Germany, and compared it to the Nazis' oppression of Jews in the 1930s. I'm pretty sure nobody has been treated since the Holocaust like the Jews by the Nazis. Not even close. So, yeah. Yeah, legal issues and drug use. Yeah, that's what you think about. Oliver Stone, he's on something. I don't care about his political views. Come on, let me see what you've done. Good Lord, there's a lot of shit written about him. Okay, executive producer, producer only. Do these count? Filmography, here's what I want to do. Okay. Seizure, never heard of it. Midnight Express, don't know what that is. The Hand, nope. Conan the Barbarian, what did he do? He was a writer for Conan the Barbarian. Okay. He was a writer for Scarface. Worst Cuban accent ever. I am not a fan of that Italian guy. I prefer De Niro to him. I don't really like Pacino, and I'm fine not watching Pacino or De Niro in anything ever again. I've got my fill of those New Yorkie people. Year of the Dragon, don't know. Salvador, what is that about? Salvador Dali? 8 Million Ways to Die, don't know what that is. Platoon, sure, I've seen that. Wall Street, haven't seen it. Talk Radio, haven't seen it. Born on 4th of July, haven't seen it. Sounds like a protest movie, not interested. The Doors, didn't see it. Don't really like the Doors music. Although I heard whatchamacallit did a great job. The guy that just died, whatever his name is. JFK, didn't see it. Heaven and Earth, no. Natural Born Killers. Did I see that one? I think I have, and I did not like it at all. Nixon didn't see it. Evita didn't see it. No, U-Turn, never see it. Nope. Any Given Sunday, nope. Alexander, yes. World Trade Center, no. Oh, that's the fireman with the Italian guy. It doesn't go by the Italian name. W. Did I see W? I think I did. Savages, Snowden. Didn't really have to see much of his stuff. You know, it was like we talked about Denzel Washington. The movies that I've seen with Denzel Washington. Oh, I got to add one more because I saw the second Gladiator one. I think I've only seen like 3 movies with Denzel Washington. And I like Denzel Washington, but he just does movies that don't appeal to me. You know, like, I don't want to see sports movies. Like, okay, so like, you take those out. Like, I'm not interested in seeing sports movies, you know? Yeah, I hate fucking communists. I wish the communists and Nazis would have killed each other to the every last fucking man, every single one of them. The world would be a better place. There's some people in China that are getting the crooked cross treatment by the commies. The Uyghurs. Yeah, the Uyghurs. Well, China don't play. So, you know. Yeah. The Uyghurs, who are some form of Muslim, right, I think. You know, they're over there north of Tibet. They're on that fringe, the Tarim Basin. And, yeah, for years they've been, you know, treated like crap. Crooked Spider. The Crooked Cross. Yeah, Crooked Spider. Now, I didn't come up with it. That little girl from Sound of Music came up with it. I love that one. Okay. One more movie directed is legendary timeless Conan the Barbarian. The hell would you? Thing about Cross of Iron I'm struggling with is overall message. See, I don't look at messages. Like, I don't... The message, read the history book. Alright, let's see what you say. I guess superior officers and higher echelon officers are dicks. There was class conflict too, but it was There wasn't a whole lot of class conflict in the German army in the Second World War. That was more the First World War. The Second World War, I mean, sure there was some, but for all the faults of Nazi Germany that it had, and there were many, I don't think that the whole class thing, I think it equalized people a lot better, but there was a lot of people that had positions, not because they were competent, but because they were good Nazis, you know? But it wasn't because they were from money or they were, you know, high society or something like that. Certainly the First World War, a lot more than the Second, but... You know, like the British Army. The British Army was a lot more spread out like that in the First World War. They're like, oh, well, you just go fight the trenches and we'll drink our tea then and tell us when you run out of people, you know? I don't really look for messages, but I guess the message is just like, you know, the guy's just trying to be a glory hound, and the other guy's like, he's just doing what he needs to do to survive, and he gets a shitload of medals along the way and doesn't give a fuck about them. You say, oh, it's an anti-war movie. I think every war movie that's been made in the last 60 years is an anti-war movie, and they should be anti-war movies. It's horrible. I mean, it's super interesting. You know, it'd be like saying a horror movie should be like an anti-horror movie, right? Like, nobody goes into a horror movie, oh man, that serial killer is so awesome and cool. No, he's not. It's horrible. That's the reaction you should have. You know, it's like, oh man, war is so cool. It's fascinating, but it's absolutely horrible. You know? What did I think of The Eagle Has Landed? It has some parts that are worth watching for sure. Well, it's got Michael Caine in it. Now, as much as I like Michael Caine, They could have picked somebody else to make a better German than Michael Caine, right? But it's still Michael Caine. Robert Duvall plays a great German. The guy they get to play Himmler, is it Donald Pleasance? Does a great Himmler. I think it's worth watching. I think it's worth watching. You know, Larry Hagman's character is great in that. You should watch it just for that. It's Cross of Iron is definitely more boring than The Eagle Has Landed. Eagle Has Landed is less boring. So, and I think it came out in '76. Look, you're a multitasker, unlike me. Go write one of your paper assignments and have it playing in the background. You know? No form of government is great, not even democracy. You're right. Every time they let people vote, it just proves democracy is a bad idea. Some people vote for the worst stuff. There's a lot of people out there that have terrible ideas. There was like this discussion that was happening on a local Facebook page or whatever. I talked about it the other day. And it was about this big drought that we had in Florida. I don't know if we still have it because we've gotten quite a bit of rain the last couple of days, but we've been under a drought. And about people only supposed to water their lawns one day a week. I don't water my lawn at all, but that's beside the point. It's also not dead. It's pretty hardy. And this one hippie of the month goes on there. Nobody should water their lawn. They should just let it die. And then just plant stuff, whatever happens there. Whatever. And I'm like, well, you can't do that if you look at a neighborhood. I'm like, you have weeds everywhere. And I looked at her profile picture, and she's got like dreadlock length hair in her armpits. I'm like, okay, I've seen enough, whatever. You know, so, you know, I don't hate Mother Nature, but you can't just let Mother Nature take over. You know, because like I said, if everybody in this neighborhood stopped mowing their lawns and just disappeared, in 20 years, you wouldn't be able to see the blacktop. It takes everything over. So you got to have balance. You know, like, I don't want trees over my house. Do I hate trees? No, but they need to be away from anything where they fall down and destroy something that the tree isn't going to pay for. Like, if the tree falls on my house, is the tree going to pay to fix my house? No. Well, then fuck you, tree. Get away from my damn house. You know, the tree, how tall is it? 100 feet? It should be 100 feet from my house. You know, I don't hate trees. I just don't, I'm not a fucking Ewok. You know? But you've got people that are on crusades, you know, and I've lived with those, you know. I haven't lived in a town where everybody wants to cut down everything that's green, okay? That's probably bad too. But I've never lived in a town. I lived in a town where it's like, we can't have any business because the trees. Well, what are people going to fucking do, you know? I was never bored in The Cross of Iron, but for a while I thought everything after the hospital was an illusion of his. Even the editing is a little hallucinogenic. Well, go watch Der Tiger. Hallucinogenic. That's a good name. That is, here, Come and See. Come and See is definitely hallucinogenic. You're watching it and I'm like, did I just drop acid? You love trees, but they're also a resource you need. You gotta be smart about stuff. You know, you can't just be like, you know, like, I don't want a coal plant right here, but people need to have, like, clean industries, you know, like places to work and stuff. And you can't be like, well, we're just going to be, you ask any of these people around here how to make Florida better. Get everybody out, bring all the trees back, unbuild everything. I'm like, okay, well, that's because you got your fucking house and you're happy with it. And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, I've got this job. I've got tenure at the University of Florida, and I got my job, so I don't give a fuck if you don't have a way to live. I'm sitting in my, you know, they're just like, you know, you can't just be like, oh, no more for you kind of thing. And you got to be smart about it. And too many people were on crusades. You know, we got these people on the planning board. Like, we got a traffic problem, and we don't compared to, you know, this isn't Tampa or Orlando or anything like that. We got a traffic problem. Well, I know how we'll solve it. We'll take this 4-lane road and we're going to reduce it to a 2-lane road so that it's really inconvenient for people to drive, and then everybody will take public transportation. Okay, so you're going to spend millions of fucking dollars reducing the flow of it. I mean, what kind of fucking drugs do you do? You know, instead of like, okay, well, the way you improve traffic is, how about coordinate the fucking traffic lights so you don't have to stop at every one of them, and it takes you 20 minutes to go 5 blocks, and everybody has road rage. You know, besides, that's better for the environment, right? You're not idling all these cars. Typically, I got mine, go fuck yourself crowd. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. I got mine, go fuck yourself. Don't fucking stand. No, they're not from somewhere else. They're grown here. You know, the utility company that was the monopoly that we don't have anymore because we live here now, right? We don't have the utility company that basically it basically gives the University of Florida free power, so the rest of us have to pay for that, right? Okay. So that utility company, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, put out a thing in the mail. We need to conserve resources, so we need to make sure that people don't use as much power so that we can save our natural resources, and we can... Okay, so they did that. A year goes by. You guys did great, but you didn't use enough power, so we don't cover the cost of, like, the retirement plans and everything, so we have to go up on your millage rate. But, you know, a power company that says don't use enough power is like a drug dealer that says, hey, don't smoke so much of those drugs I sell to you. I saw it coming. I'm like, why would they not want to use enough power? Because I see it all the time. Like, okay, I'm here alone in the house, right? What is on right now? This fan, this light, the computer. That's it. There's nothing else on. Obviously, the refrigerator. I don't have a light on somewhere else in the house. Why? Do I do it to conserve power? No, I do it because I don't drive myself fucking crazy. Right? But some people will have every fucking light on. Why? Even if it was free, if I didn't have to pay a dime for it, I wouldn't do it. You know? Oh well. How does that saying goes? I'm going to remember exactly the way you worded it. I got mine, go fuck yourself. Okay. I got mine, go fuck yourself. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to do more to it than this. I mean, obviously we're going to do drippings. Sally's drippings, whatever that means. I'm the same way. I don't leave lights on unless it's those little night lights in the hallway, so I don't stumble around when I get up to take a piss in the middle of the night. Ah, you're getting up. You're getting to be that gotta wake up in the middle of the night, take a piss age. Yeah, well, I don't leave shit on. Just on principle. Even if it was free, if I'd have to pay for it. If it wasn't bad for the environment, it was free, I still wouldn't do it. It'd drive me crazy. Who's over there? What? Well, we don't have pest control. Oh, really? What do you use? Oh, we just leave lights on every room so the roaches don't come out. Like, what's your logic for, leaving shit on, I actually had a friend of mine who had he told me this, so it's fair game, right? He told me this. He had a hippie mother. He did. He still does. Extremely hippie mother. This is how hippie she was. She didn't believe in using pest control. Well, I don't know about you. You don't have to believe in pest control. It's not a fucking religion. It requires faith. But she didn't believe in pest control, so she didn't spray her house for bugs because it was cruel to bugs. I love Mother Nature, but if there was a button that said, Tony, if you press this, every roach will automatically die, like, they'd be gone. Sorry. Well, what about the birds? They'd find something else to fucking eat. They would, Tea does make you piss. And coffee, too. People say coffee makes you poop. I mean, I guess, but not really. It makes me piss, too. So, yeah, I'm always putting something in my mouth. Yeah, tea. Or Crystal Light, anyways. Fake tea. The other night, what night was it? I think it was Saturday night. Saturday night, I had to get up early. Was it Saturday night? I think it was. Saturday night, I needed to get up early. I was going to get up early. Well, I was going to get up at the same time I do. But I was going to go to the flea market yesterday. Maybe it was Friday night. It's irrelevant what night it was. Tony, shut up. It's irrelevant what night it was. Anyways, I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep because I had enough. I was tired enough that I wanted to go to bed, but then I couldn't stay asleep. I was like reading, I couldn't go to bed. So, and I was hungry. So I'm like, and I've been good about food. Like didn't overeat. Well, then I said, fuck it. And I just, I overate late, and that finally put me to sleep. Oh, I watched Nuremberg. I guess it was Friday night. I watched Nuremberg, which I don't know that it's worth watching, but it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. But anyways, and then I was able to fall asleep like at 1 something, which is, it would be like most of you guys like staying up till like 4. Me staying up till 1 is like, because I'm still up at 5. And I just couldn't fall asleep. There's variables of what kind of bodily function. Roll for bodily function. Coffee makes you piss or shit depending on your age, strength of coffee, and what you had to eat with said coffee. I never drink milk. I don't hate milk. I just never drink milk. And when I was a kid, I always had milk because I always had cereal. Gonna get going. Thanks for suggesting cross of iron. Good, I'm glad you like one of my suggestions. Yeah, you'll probably like Eagles Landing as well. It's definitely, I don't know if it's lighter, but like that 1990, the movie that everybody seems to like about the Eastern Front is that 1993 Stalingrad movie. It's a German production, and it is very good, but it's the first half of the movie. You know, once they get surrounded, and it's half the fucking movie is them basically just either, you know, surrounded, get taken into captivity, and try to survive captivity. That's half the movie. I'm not interested in that movie. It's just boring. It just turns into like almost like a prison movie. You know, but the first half of the movie is excellent. But Generation War is much better than any of those. But it's also the most realistic one of them all. And it's kind of unpredictable what happens. Although some of you people that like to steal your own thunder probably figure it out. I don't. Like the girls I live with, well, the daughter and the wife, they're always trying to figure out what's going on. Well, I bet so and so's going to happen and this and it's going to. I'm like, just enjoy the damn movie. And they're right frequently. You know, it's not like they have some harebrained idea and it's not even close. No, they're usually spot on. I don't worry about that stuff. You know. The only time I think it's going to turn a certain way, it ends up not being that certain way, and I get upset because it turns into some demented way that I could have never foreseen, and you know I'm like, there's some sick bastard to have made it that way. So hopefully we're happy with this vehicle because the last vehicle I did I wasn't happy with. Did it turn out okay? Sometimes. But it's very unusual that I get done with something and I'm like, I don't really like this. I don't know how to make it better. And, you know, Dirty Cooter was that way. It's not what I envisioned it looking like. I expected a Dirty Cooter to look a little different. No, and it was the splash. It was that pink splash. I'm like, okay, well, we'll use that to, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it's the only one. Maybe there just wasn't enough initial graphics on it. I prefer to like use what. There were just too many damn colors. Now the YOLO Pony was all over the place, and I think the YOLO Pony turned out really well. And it's all over the place. Talk about an artsy car. That thing was artsy. I actually had to dial some of it down because the wheels were like blue and pink and shit like that. But YOLO Pony turned out okay. It looks a lot better than it did unpainted. It's actually won a race. But this truck turned out well. Marty's truck. Not happy with this thing. It's okay, but it's just. I thought it was going to be better, and that's unusual. I can tell you I usually expect them to be. It look pretty good, and it usually blow my mind. Like this thing, I think this thing's going to turn out really well. This thing was purple, and we airbrushed it in brown, specifically. The Hillbilly Hacksaw, got double chain guns on it. How many races have I done? 14? Something like that. All of them have been close except one. All of them have been literally like DBA games. Up to the last minute, like it could go any which way. The game has a really good way of Oh, this guy's going to run away with it? No, he didn't. Now this guy's going to run away with it? Nope, he didn't run away with it either. That kind of thing. I'm going to put... Yay! I'm going to put a little... I'm going to put a little red light on that thing. So that's one of the things that I like about the game. Actually, the thing I like about the game the most is, well, I'm creating all the cars for it. But besides that, is I feel like it's not very competitive. On purpose. Like, I'm playing the game and I'm giving people suggestions. I'd probably play that. Like, I don't care. I want a good narrative. Right? And it's not like I'm creating all these cars. I'm like, all right, I'm supplying the cars, but I got to play it first before anybody. It's like, I don't care. You know? I mean, I think all the cars are worth playing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have designed them the way that I did. And because I'm using these parameters of the points, and I think the point system is fairly well balanced. You know, we've got either 27-point vehicles or 35-point vehicles, or there's a 50. I'm kind of trying to keep them in the category, so it's like, all right, you know, kind of even things out. Like, all right, you get a 27-point and a 35-pointer, or you get two 14s instead of a 27 or something like that. Just to kind of, just so you're having fun. That's really the whole thing is just have fun. Just have fun. And we changed the order that of the mechanics of the game, so it's a little bit more unpredictable. And I think that helped too. Because the way the game is, like, who gets to go next, it's like almost like a car, like if you're playing cards. Like, if Frank's to the right of me, he's always going to go before I am, and I'm going to go before Billy, and, you know, it's too predictable. So we changed that. The other thing we changed is when you crash, you roll randomly to see which way you're facing, not the next person gets to pick for you. Because every time you crash, you'd be facing exactly 180 degrees the way you're coming. Like, it's just stupid like that. So, crash when you wipe out. But other than that, we attempt to play the game the way it's designed. And it seems to be alright. I guess the only gripe about the game is the battles can take a long time. They could. They may not, but they could. I don't know that I'm going to do much more to it than that. Here I go again. You're not going to do anything else, so why are you fucking with it? Because I always do shit like that. Like, I think it looks good, and then I still fuck with it. Well, I still have to do more drippings. We're not done with the drippings. I forgot I was not done with that. So we're going to have... I'm going to need to darken a little bit more so it stands out from this. From this color. One of the things I love to do on cars is to make the gas cap stand out. And there's always drippings from the gas cap. Gas cap. What the fuck did I just say? Gas cap. No, I'm not from that place. When people talk like that. Hey, you got some leakage from your gas cap. Freaking Yankistani. I do that though. If I'm around people that talk funny, I'll start talking funny too. But I haven't been around somebody that talks like that. And my wife, I'll start talking funny, and my wife will go, "Have you been? What bubbas have you been around?" I need to make a redneck vehicle called Hogan's Goat. Yankistani, that's right. You know who they are? I cannot stand Bostonian. Oh yeah, nobody can. Nobody can. Come on, they sound so intelligent. Do I have a southern accent? I don't, do I? Marcus called me a while ago. He said, "Oh, I sound like I'm from the deep." I'm like, "You sound like a normal person to me. You do not sound like you're from the deep south." Nails on a chalkboard, yeah. But they're so, they're so friendly. I think that's one of the reasons I could never watch Seinfeld. Because it's like, nobody talks like that, you know? And that's why I've had enough of De Niro and Pacino. I'm like, America isn't all New York City. Like, like, stop promoting your fantasy land. That's not America. Yankistanis, yep. That's a Tony original right there. And so is Nerd Burglar until there's actually some folks that have a YouTube channel called the Nerd Burglars. I'm like, you sons of bitches. Stealing my freaking idea. Your girlfriend have a Latino accent? I definitely don't, and my wife definitely doesn't. No? Good. I think this bitch is done. Who you calling bitch? This bitch? Why she got a bitch? Because I designed her that way. every one of these drivers is, the society would be better if they were all dead. I'm sorry, that's just how it works. These are really bad people. Every one of them. It's gladiatorial combat. She sounds country like everyone else. Deep fried chancla. She does have an accent when she yells in Spanglish, though, which is hilarious. You know, the amazing thing about Spanglish, well, I don't know if it's in the case, in her case, but I can switch between one language and the other one. Like, I don't know how to even do it. But I literally can, like, be and, like, switch and go to another one. I mean, I don't usually try. I try not to do that. But they say when you learn multiple languages as a kid, it's easier to, and I believe it. Okay, this bitch done. She's done now. All right, hillbilly motherfucker. What is it? 8 o'clock. You guys still up for it? I'll keep going. Let's get some black out here and touch up the areas that are going to be black. The whole thing was black, and then we airbrushed it. Opportunity to work on the airbrush skills. I took it up. Where is she? It's this one? Yeah. Alright, we need to brush this a little bit bigger than this one. And we are going to paint all the engine parts. Let's see, this is almost like these armored louvers. Over them windars. You got something over your windars? Oh, yes, I do. This does not have a very thick dividing line between these two things. This thing was purple. Now, I've got nothing against using a purple vehicle, but it doesn't need to look like this. This is way too, This is way too cornbread to be purple. And then once we're done with this, well, we got to work on the Irish one tomorrow. So that's what we're working tomorrow on. Murphy's lawnmower. Because this is the last one of the 3 that I primed this last weekend to get going on. Be confident if you ever hear me in person, if I decide to make a video using my voice, I sound cornbread as fuck. I said cornbread because there was a guy that I had to contact on a job site, and I don't know what his real name was, but you can call me cornbread. Now, I like cornbread as much as probably anybody else, right? I never have it, but I like stuff like that. But I wouldn't want my name to be cornbread. You know what I'm saying? So. What's cornbread? Well, it's kind of like white bread, but from the South. Grits. Why do people hate grits so much? I've never understood why there's so many people that, not like, I don't care for grits, they just dislike grits. And I'm like, I rarely eat grits, but I like grits. As long as they're not those damn creamy ones. Those are damn Yankistani grits. You know? They should be salty, not sweet. You make grits sweet? That's like, what's that stuff that they eat over the cream of wheat? You know? Yeah, grits are awesome. And they don't need cheese in them. They're fine the way it is, just with a little bit of butter and salt. Done. They're wonderful. My dad was a Cuban immigrant. He loved grits. He probably liked them more than I do. And they're clean, right? It's not like you're eating something that's gross, like it's made of liver or it's a filter of a meat product or something. Grits are clean. I mean, there's nothing there, you know. I like to put cheese on mine if the mood strikes me. Nah, it's just to make it too heavy. Yeah, grits are excellent. You know what I don't like? Pancakes. Or the other thing that's worse than pancakes is when people call them hot cakes. No. You take you and your yams and get the fuck out of here. Yankistani. Pancakes. Soggy ass, thin sponge. Girlfriend likes putting cheese or bits of bacon or sausage and hot peppers in it. Of course she likes putting hot peppers in her, because, you know, we like to eat, our household likes to eat spicy food. We really do. Not on everything, on what it goes on. Waffles are superior, absolutely. Fight me, F-I-T-E. Fight and spite, F-I-T-E. Fight. Put me in, coach. My favorite place to have breakfast, and I don't like to go there because it's really expensive. Of course, every place is expensive. And breakfast seems to just not last. Like, if you have breakfast, it's like, in an hour, I'm ready to eat again, you know? There's this chain place, of course everything's a fucking chain place here, but called Kiki's, K-E-K-E, and they have a waffle that's fucking big, and it's incredible. It's incredible. They make it with like banana and fruit and like whipped cream. I don't put any fucking syrup on it, like it's sweet enough. And their waffles are superb. Speaking of Waffle House, you know the best thing there, or the best thing that used to be there? That cinnamon toast. Not the cinnamon toast, the raisin toast. I love that shit. Or I used to love it. I don't know if it probably tastes bad now. They probably cut corners. It's not worth the damn either. Used to like Cracker Barrel used to be better, but it's gone to shit. Absolutely. Would rather Waffle House. I cannot stand IHOP. IHOP is a breakfast place that we go to when we go to the convention, and I've stopped going there because it's way too expensive and it's garbage. It's just pure garbage. I'm not gonna eat pancakes, you know. And I'm real particular about eggs and bacon because nobody makes better eggs than my wife. No one. No, it's not even fucking close. No one can make scrambled eggs better than her. I don't know what she does. She says she doesn't put anything in them. It's amazing. Always has been that way too. Your girlfriend cook, or you got one of those girls that doesn't know how to cook? Hey, the non-cooking department, that's me. I've already figured that out, right? We don't need two on the team that don't cook. I paint, so, you know. I don't cook, but I also don't go hungry. You miss your grandma's buttermilk waffles she used to make when I was a wee lad. Eggs and bacon is a good breakfast. Can't get any more American than that. Yeah, except I don't like when bacon's overcooked, because it changes taste. I don't like what it changes into. It's like when you burn butter, right? Like butter, things on butter are okay. If you let the butter burn, it tastes awful. I don't dare cook. And then here's the thing. I think I'd actually be... Well, okay. I would be good at it because I appreciate depth of flavor and stuff. I would not be good at it because I'm a shitty multitasker. And you know, when you're cooking, there's lots of different things that are going on. And if you pay too much attention to this, something else will overflow. Or it'll burn. Or like, yeah, I wouldn't be good at that. I wouldn't be good at that part. Alright, it looks like this inbred sumbitch has a wooden deck. So let's paint a wooden deck on the motherfucker. Alright, here we go. We're going to use leather ass brown. What? Fumblefuck. Well, we'll get you later. You follow. It's too, it's the wrong color. It's not going to stand out enough from this. This is actually will stand out better, but obviously it's not going to be this bright. We're going to tone it down. Yeah, this is an inbred guy. Hillbilly hacksaw. Brah! A lot of my redneck vehicles have chain guns. I can't call them miniguns. I gotta call them chain guns. A lot of them have chain guns. More power! Brah! Lead spittoon. She likes doing planned meals made from scratch, and I make our quick, hearty meals so we got something to take for our lunches for work. I have such a hard time. So for lunch every day, I basically have a salad that's already like fucking pre-made, right? Just because I'm lazy. It's fucking easy. And I wish I don't even have the pre-planning to like take it with me. like I used to, but usually it's like I don't want to do anything. I just don't want to spend the time to do it in the morning. So I end up driving home and have it here instead of like, bringing it with me, and then I get like more time to relax instead of spending the time. I mean, I live really close to where I work, but still, I get lazy when it comes to that. I get lazy about food. I get really lazy. Like, it shouldn't take this long to eat something, I don't know. I've just always been that way. The way some people are like, I don't see how you got the patience to paint this. I said, I don't see how you have the patience to make a meal that in 3.5 minutes you'll be gobbling it up, and it takes you an hour to make it and a half hour to clean it up. But the eating part's only 3 minutes. Like, I can't do that, You like egg noodles with mushroom and broccoli and beef early. I don't use kits usually unless I'm lazy or really pressed for time. Yeah, I'm lazy. I gotta have time for this. Sorry. I'm not lazy about this. Because people have told me, I don't know how you have the patience. I said, and I say this generally, everybody has patience. They just decide what their patience they want to have it for. God, that looks like what in the pumpkin hell is? Well, we don't have to go all the way up to the core color. We can stop here. You smoke meat something as a hobby. Do you ever do? Oh, you have a smoker, not a grill. Well, do you ever grill or smoke and not have an adult beverage with it? See, I don't know if I could do that. Like fishing. Like, I don't know shit about fishing, right? But I've gone fishing and I find it fairly enjoyable, especially if you're on a ship or a boat. Absolutely. Especially if it's salt water. Like, that's how we fucking got here. Salt water. Not a damn lake. Alright? Don't really know the first thing about it, but that's okay. I still find it enjoyable. What was I gonna go with this? Oh, I don't want to fish if I can't have a beer. And alcohol is not a big part of my life, but it just goes hand. Like, I'm not fishing and not having a beverage. Yeah, I'm not really much of a. We're gonna have a Guinness tomorrow, just so you know. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's the official St. Patrick's Day painting session. So I don't know why I'm honorary Irishman. I don't know, whatever. But I've been doing that for a couple of years now. So I never do anything on that day. I always want to, and it's like, celebrating St. Patrick's Day is almost like the prom that I never got a chance to go to. You bring a book when you go fishing, you're boring. Well, if they're not biting, you don't want to fish. But I want to fish from shore because then you can't have an open beverage. The cops get all uppity, they get all like getting in your shit, and you feel like you're doing something like, forbidden. Jameson's. There you go. That stuff's good. Is that what we're going to have tomorrow night? Hey, I'm counting on you. I don't think I have any Irish whiskey. I got Japanese whiskey. I got, I'm sure I have some scotch. Yeah, Jameson's good stuff. Just on the rocks. And sip on it. There's no reason to go, whoa, go crazy. I'm like, be responsible, So that's one thing about St. Patrick's Day. Growing up when I did, you guys said I've never really celebrated it. I haven't tried not to celebrate it either. It just doesn't happen. However, there is no way in hell I am ever going to go to work or somewhere in public on St. Patrick's Day and not wear something green. Like, there is no fucking way I'm not wearing green tomorrow. Because when you're in school, they make your life miserable. If it's like, that's like, that's ingrained in you. You're Irish heritage, so you ought to. I'm pretty sure I have no Irish heritage. But they've always been our allies. Just saying. But then, I never get angry when I'm drinking. I get angry when I'm not drinking. It's slancha, isn't it? That's how you say it? It's not like, oh, slank to you too, Bubba. Well, the bad news is it's really close in color, but we're going to add a few more levels and they'll separate that. I think the color of this vehicle is the correct color. I want it to look like it was almost like made of wood, but obviously not. It was originally purple, and that's just not going to fly. There's no purple fucking hillbilly. Right. Hillbillies don't wear purple. Thing is, your girlfriend used to drink like a fish, so she could drink me under the table. I'm supposed to be the Irishman with a high alcohol. People can drink me under the table. I don't care. I'm older. Like I don't even need to get a buzz. It's just the experience of it. To me, alcohol has always been like, it's just an appetizer, right? So, more isn't better. Purple is for royalty. And you know why it's for royalty? Because to make purple, you had to use, this crushed shell of this certain snail that was available, like, in, like, the Red Sea or some place, like, way out. That was, like, you needed to import it. So, blue is for the brave, like woad. Green is for legends. I like green. If we're playing a board game, I always want to be green. Well, my eyes are green. And historically, people didn't like to play green. I'm blue. I want to be red. I can't have red. I want to be blue. I can't have blue. Nobody ever want green. So I got used to being green. Some of my favorite cars are green, actually. All right, is this thing dry enough? I think it is in certain places. This is why I need to put the flag on this thing. I'm probably not going to do it because I'm afraid of it breaking off and I won't have it anymore. This thing. This is a 3D printed little, it's more like a pendant than a flag. Put a redneck. You saw this, right? You've seen this. I made this with ChatGPT. Printed it. Your blue la da dee la da 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 dee da 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 dee da da. Yep. Backwoods berserkers. Mud, metal, mayhem. Louder than thinking. Yeah, this turned out really well. And it's just made from fucking scraps. And it's got a place for two bubbas to sit out here and go, you better get the fuck off my porch, you motherfucker. You know? And they shoot at you and stuff like that. Because, you know, rednecks are pro-gun. In every way of that, in every sense. But see, that's the thing, and I talked about this before. That's the thing about adding all these groups. There is nobody. If I showed this to a real redneck, they would be proud that I included them in the game. Not like, well, you're just trying to make fun of our kind. They wouldn't. They'd be like, all right, we're in. You know. That other. You know, the reality is all the. I let people choose who they want me to play. I like all the teams. I really like the brothers. The brother cars are awesome. I wouldn't drive any of them in real life, but I think that they're really cool. You know, they fit the. They all fit. The other day I brought them out. Luke wanted to play the girls. Oh, you got girls? I'll play the girls. Perfect. That's the attitude to have. You know. I haven't started on the Nerdburglars. Oh, I'm gonna have some doozies for the Nerdburglars. I can get some Star Trek bullshit on there too. Now, you weren't on here the other day, so I got this Harry Potter car, right? So this Harry Potter car, which is just, you know, it almost looks like a Trabi. Remember those things that they made in East Germany? Those little Trabi cars, is what it looks like. This is some Ford Anglia or something like that. So this is going to be a car, but then I'm going to make it a transformer, where I'm going to take the propeller off this thing, and we're going to make it a flying car too. So I think in the movies it flies or some shit like that. I would ask my daughter, because she's seen all the movies. I said, so what's the deal with this car? Does it fly or something? It's like, yeah, it kind of has a mind of its own. I said, okay, so it's like Doctor Strange's cape. She's like, yeah, kind of like that. I said, okay. So, you know, if I always make it a flying car, you can't race a helicopter. It doesn't allow you because, you know, it can just avoid everything. But I want it to, you know, have the option to be a helicopter sometimes, you know. So this is, I am going to make a Russian team, and I have one Russian car for them because I saw it. It's like it looked like a mafioso car, so you know, be like Black Vlad or something like that. Little red star on it. All the Russian cars are going to have red stars. They're not necessarily going to be communist, but they're going to have red stars. Red stars look great. They do. Crazy Ivans. Crazy Ivans is yeah. So I've got some vehicles that can play that can play for two different teams that are appropriate to use for two different teams. These are the British one and the nerds. This is like could be rednecks and the girls team, right? You know, that kind of stuff. So I like that. Now, unlike the game, I don't have any team perks. So I don't have something that, oh, well, if you're on the British team, they all get this for free. No, they're just on a team by association. You know, that's all. And I think that's good because if you start giving them perks for a particular team, then you're like, well, they get that for free, so does that really balance well with what this other team gets? You know? So, and I got a French team too. So I've got Blackjack Shellac. Blackjack Shellac's going to be one of them. And I got a little small car. It's going to be Petite Wee Wee. And Probably some other things. I got a Peugeot. I don't know what the hell it is going to be yet. It's an old car. I'd love to have like a whole team of Le Cars. Remember those little things with the little like sunroof that's made out of like a tarp? Those would be perfect. Little buggies. All right, would whoever mouth so it's still wet. Some bitch. Some bitch. Yeah, but I like my ideas for teams, not what's in the rule book. But yeah, even the author says you don't have to go with the teams I have perfect, because I'm not going to, because I think his rules are brilliant. I don't really care for his setting. But, you know, like I said, there's too many, like I've said before, there's so many things that are already happening on Earth that you don't have to go anywhere else. You know, you don't have to go and add other things to it. So, this guy. Some Beach. That's a good name for a team, by the way. You could have just a bunch of surfer dudes. You know, a bunch of dope guys. You know, like Hippie Kaye can be on there. They make a lot of like woodies and stuff like that have surfboards. Yeah, this is going to be Fire Marshal Phil. So, yes, it's going to have a flamethrower. What is this, a 57 Chevy? 59 Dodge Coronet Police. Well, it ain't a police now. It's got flames on it. Yeah. So this is Fire Marshal Phil. Some beach. Yeah, I got a lot of beach dune buggy looking things. Yeah, you could have like guys that have surfers, guys that are like dopers. Maybe some people from, what's the name of that place that I used to call? Absurdistan. Guys that with a technical from Absurdistan can be on there, right? That's my make-believe Middle Eastern country. Absurdistan. Where nothing makes any sense. Are the Yankistanis from Absurdistan? No, the Yankistanis are from up north. Dude. Yeah, but I gotta flesh out the teams that I already have. Like, I haven't built a single Nerdburglar car yet. We will. I haven't finished the British yet. We're having fun, you know. We don't have an end date where we have to have this done by. And I mean, I got that one vehicle that I was going to use for my Africa setting. That's basically like it's a primate rescue. No, that's California's the land of fruits and nuts. I'm going to have a fruits and nuts kind of team, so you know, fruity people can be on it too. I think I actually made a logo for him. I need to come up with a catchier name than that, but no hurry to do that. Italian team. The Pastafarians. No, Absurdistan was going to be my fictitious setting for the Middle East. Like Afghanistan, but Absurdistan. It's going to have one guy named Ahmed the Motherless Goat Herder. There's another one of the low-flying helicopters. I think we should be allowed to defend our airspace over this plot. Like, don't go over this plot or we get to shoot you down. I was listening to Phil Collins the other day. What day was it? I was cranking on some of this. I'm like, we'll just listen to that for a while. I always liked Phil Collins. He's really old. He's not that old. He's just like a really old shape now. I don't know if he's got something other than just being really old. I think 75 or something. That's not really old, but yeah, like this wouldn't be offensive to country people. They'd be like, all right, they included us in the game. Right? I'm still going to have to mess with the color of the deck. Don't talk about my deck. Let's add... Woo! Let's add some of this lemon yeller. I don't think I've ever listened to Meatloaf. I'll usually like listen to an album on like Apple Music, and then when it's done playing, it'll suggest things that are similar to that, and that's when you get some interesting suggestions, or you can get some interesting suggestions. Yeah, the problem with Meatloaf is, at least for me, it's complete. He's very associated with that Rocky Horror Picture Show movie, which I'm not a fan of. So, I know that he did some other things, but I think all of his music is in that, right? I believe all the music in that movie is Meatloaf. I mean, hell, he's in the movie, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is a little... more brighter. Well, the 70s music is okay as long as I don't have to look at them. Because, man, there's some funky shit those guys wore in the 70s. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better. 50s is old. 50s is really old. Alright. Alright, I think we're going to call it. I'll let this stuff set. And then... maybe I'll work on this a little bit in the morning. I don't know. We definitely need to get the Irish guy done. This is going to be Murphy's lawnmower, because it's got a little wood chipper looking thing on the front. I don't like bell bottoms. Even when they come in, bell bottoms don't look good on anybody. They don't look good on anybody. You could take the hottest girl, put her in bell bottoms, I'm out. It's just a terrible idea. Got them flare pants. Yeah, this is Murphy's lawnmower. So I gotta make these cards, or I'm gonna. If I lose this, I'm not fucked. I just have to reconstruct it from. Yeah, see, Murphy's lawnmower's not here. It's somewhere else. Anyways, it's got a ram on it. It's got grenades. It's got a heavy machine gun, which I gotta remember. Where's that 30 cal? Or 50 cal, or whatever the hell it is. It's floating around here somewhere. It's gonna sit up here, and it's got this roll cage. It's got this roll cage I made out of a paper clip, because it's considered a buggy class. So buggies all have a free roll cage, which basically means if they go flying, they don't take damage from the fall. So I figured, well, it might as well look like it's got a roll cage on it to some degree. And where's the HMG? She's here somewhere. It's here. It's where it should be. Yeah, we're going to mount it up here. I don't want to mount it on the hood. And, you know, it's got a clover on it. We want to leave that clover there. Do something like that. And of course, we haven't even done black lining on it and everything. This thing will look pretty cool. It'll be funny. So, all right, man. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys on